Hello everyone, it's Nick from Insert Review here, and this time I'll be reviewing the game entirely in post. Hopefully this will work better than my previous method of just using a black screen. Today's review will be on Super Renegade Response. This game was made by Monster Finger Games, whose logo kind of looks like it was made entirely in Photoshop. In fact, I actually think I've seen that hand image before, but we're not here to judge the logos. To be honest, I don't think I can make a logo in Photoshop that'd be any more professional either.
Super Renegade Response.
Once we reach the start menu, we get a little taste of the voice acting, and it reminds me of my own Flash game since I don't use that expensive of a microphone. My previous high score is highlighted in the top left, even though I don't actually remember playing this game before, and a credit counter is in the top right. I haven't found the purpose of the credit counter yet, but I'm sure it does something. This is one of the few games where there's no options icon in the main menu, so we don't get to ignore the controls like we usually do. All we have to select from is the campaign and couch party beta mode. Before we explore the beauty that will undoubtedly be the campaign, let's get our feet wet and try the couch party mode.
The Tony of Tomorrow has traveled.
Again, we are exposed to more voice acting, which sounds like they artificially lowered the tone of the speaker's voice. It's not that bad in all honesty, especially since it's an indie game and I can't expect perfection from people who probably weren't even paid to make it. It is interesting that they made up a story to explain why there are two identical cars racing each other. The joke of sitting on the couch and not the controller isn't that funny, but since my jokes aren't either, I'll let it slide. Before we can actually begin playing, we get to detail the items the game has. We have a Rubik's Cube, generic Mario coin, a clock, that in my opinion looks more like the beanie that Parappa the Rapper wore, and a booster that reminds me of the road sign of a pine tree. It's obvious that the designer either never finished a Rubik's Cube or just hated them since they called it an annoying cube. I've personally only ever finished one. It was a 2x2 and it took only about 8 steps to complete. The message at the bottom sounds like something I'd put in one of my Flash games, clearly stating that this is experimental and may have glitches. After playing this mode for several seconds, it became clear to me that it was actually designed for more than one player, but not only do I not have a second Ouya controller, but I also don't have any friends who'd like to come over just to play a demo of a game. So I'm stuck by myself for the rest of this. The actual driving of the game starts out pretty good. By sitting in the back, you usually have enough time to avoid oncoming cars, and you can also bash your friends to cause them to crash. The horizontal speed could use a bit of an increase. It was also impossible to avoid cars when you were in the center of them. There is another power that wasn't mentioned, the question mark. It usually just gave me a gun and allowed me to blow up oncoming traffic, though. Eventually, our time ran out and I won against my AI-less opponent. One thing that is interesting is that there's a button to reset your high scores when you reach the final win screen, which actually kind of scares me. Now that we've seen what the basic gameplay is like, we can move on to the core of the game, the campaign. Once again, we are treated with voice acting that sounds slightly more monotone than the last. I feel like the actor was just reading off the script and in the process didn't put any emotion into what he was saying. Can't say I blame him, voice acting is hard. The hand holding the radio looks kind of pixelated and not purposely so. It seems as if they attempted to use the magic wand tool in Photoshop to cut out the hand. I think they should have just used a CV radio. It would have been easier to cut out and would have looked a lot nicer. The joke once again falls flat, but cheesy jokes always hit home for me since I usually use them in my own videos. On the left side of the screen, we can see that we have 3 credits, but I've never found the purpose of these. I thought they might indicate the amount of continues you have, but nothing seemed to happen even after I died around 50 times. The campaign actually has a lot of detail I do enjoy. You can drive on the shoulder of the road, which messes up your driving. There is oncoming traffic on one side and same traffic on the other, and chickens. I didn't notice it before, but the items actually have sound effects. My personal favorite is the annoying cube, which goes every time you pick it up. There is also a ramp truck that I kept missing, so I guess you could drive it up it and do some stunts too, but I'm not actually sure. Each boost pad you run over increases your Renegade meter, but I also never found out what this does, because every time I would get it, I would crash instantaneously. You only start with 30 seconds, and that isn't enough to get to the end of the level. Thankfully, the game gives plenty of time pickups. However, time isn't your biggest enemy. Your biggest adversary in the campaign is the other drivers, oil spills, and planes that fly by. The randomized cars sometimes come in packs, which will instantly kill you. Oil slicks are small and can easily be missed. The benefit of facing these hazards is finally being able to pull out your gun and shoot those bad guys. Towards the end of each level, you have to face enemy vehicles. The first set appears to be 2 NSA vans who keep shooting those purple ball things from a heavy weapon at you. The second set is the station wagon from Oregon Trail who keeps dropping mines at you. Sadly, this is where the demo ends and you are told that 6 more levels await you if payment is made. Honestly, these levels look so much better than the demo, and I wish they had put some of those features in the demo. In conclusion, though, this game is actually quite good. The levels are kind of hard, but not impossible. Little features like cross-traffic hitting you, but only making you swerve was kind of cool. Having the ability to destroy those cars you keep ramming into was fun. Overall, pretty good. I can't say that it's worth the $3.99 they're asking, but the demo kept me entertained. There are a few minor things I would like fixed, like the movement along the x-axis. which is almost impossible to avoid cars when you get in certain situations. A tutorial explaining some of the other features like the ramp truck, because I kept completely avoiding them. And maybe an options mode so I can actually select the music to turn it on and off, because I'm not saying that the music is bad in this game, but it wasn't exactly the greatest. So overall, I would say I'd give it about a 7 out of 10. It's a good game if you really want to just sit down with a buddy and just kind of, drive around and shoot people, but it isn't the greatest game ever. So, well, that's about it for now. It's Nick Vinci Review here, and I'll see you later.